Hello everyone, my name is Simon and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar brought to you by PolyU Design. Today's webinar is titled Interaction Design in Hong Kong PolyU, a multidisciplinary approach. And during today's webinar, you will learn what is the importance of interaction design as a multidisciplinary approach, how the program is structured, how does someone with related work experience and without the training in design learn interaction design, and what skills you have to demonstrate to be considered for this program, and how will this program and a year of study abroad in Asia improve your employability. And without further ado, it is time to meet today's presenters. And it's a pleasure to send my greetings to Hong Kong, where I would like to introduce Dr. Kenny Chow, the Associate Professor and the Specialism Leader. Welcome, Kenny.
Hi, I'm Kenny Chow.
Kenny, it's a pleasure having you in. And sitting next to you is an alumni who will be helping out with any Q&A questions. And his name is Kesaven. Welcome, Kesaven.
Hi, Simon. Thank you for the introduction.
Pleasure having you both in. And last but not least, from a different location, we also have an alumni joining, and his name is Wallace Wong. Welcome to you as well, Wallace.
Hi, everybody.
So now with the introduction out of the way, it is time to navigate to your presentation, because I believe that the audience members would actually prefer to hear more from you. So Kenny, without further ado, the floor is all yours.
Okay. So thank you, Simon. So I'm Kenny Chow, Associate Professor of the School of Design, the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Just to give you a background of Hong Kong Polytechnic University, the School of Design actually has a long history. We have 50 years of history. In our school, we have a lot of different design disciplines, say the traditionally product design, interior design, advertising design, and interaction design as well. And our Master of Design program actually also started more than a decade ago with multiple specialisms, and interaction design specialism have been one of the earliest ones. We have also 8 years history. So we are one of the earliest university in Asia to have interaction design. And today I'm going to introduce our specialisms. I want to let you guys know that what is the program philosophy in our specialism, and also how we conduct our training to our students. And today my presentations include 4 aspects. First of all, I will let you know what are our beliefs. Secondly, I will let you know how we achieve our beliefs. And then we want to let you know what is our students in the past and what are their possible outcomes in the future. So to start with, the first aspect is our beliefs, our theories, and also perspectives in interaction design. We believe in the relationship between people and technology. Of course, we always put people center stage. And we all know that people are subjects with multiple disciplines, multiple backgrounds, multiple areas of knowledge. And everything revolving around people actually related to interaction design. Because what we mean by interaction here is the interactions between people enabled by technology. So everything about people are relevant. We also take a very designerly thinking towards this special relationship between people and technology. What is designerly thinking? Designers always to be reflective, speculative, And sometimes we want to be persuasive in order to make changes in the society and in the world. So, the first part, multidisciplinary. What is multidisciplinary? You can see that there's a lot of different disciplines revolving around interaction design. Traditionally, interaction design is an area from so-called human-computer interaction. But after some time, we already aware that interaction is not just emerged between computers and humans. Actually, it's everywhere around us. So it's connected to human psychology. And we know that design as a discipline and also as a practice, we can always design something for people to use, including something related to technology. So product design is related. And then we know that with the advent of computers and also advances of multimedia interactive technologies, we have everything turns to digital. So we have digital media. But of course, we could not afford to overlook other areas related to digital and information technology, like information science, cognitive science, and computing. Two more areas related to humans is also like philosophy and anthropology. So all these traditional areas of knowledge actually connected to interaction design. So when you come to our school, the first thing probably you might need to know is you will broaden your vision. You see that actually design is about nearly everything related to humans. Then we might take a review of what have happened or what is happening in the world. From the very beginning of so-called human-computer interaction, back to 50 or even 60 years ago, we already have something very much related to the screen. But screen-based interaction is just a very first beginning of so-called human-computer interaction. Today, we all know that interactions exist everywhere, not just on screen, but embedded in our environment, everyday settings. And also related to our everyday behavior. Definitely, social media is something prevalent, a global phenomenon in our world. So all this human behavior have been refashioned, have been evolved, have been changed because of digital technology. In the meantime, the connections between digital and the physical world have been strengthened and their boundary have been blurred. Say, today, even selecting an emoji, we might be aware of different skin colors. So what does it mean to us? It means that actually the digital reality have to be synchronized, have to be reflective to our physical reality in different aspects, social aspects, cultural aspects, economical aspects, environmental aspects, and the like. So psychology, as I said, definitely play an important role in design. from traditionally portrait design to today interaction design. And sometimes designers like to be speculative and reflective. So we always like to speculate possible outcomes, possible presents, alternate solutions, all this. So just like sometimes some designers' work, like this one, you can see that definitely it is an address, a response to a global phenomenon, very common behavior that we can see today. Definitely, it is not just about something practical, pragmatic, but it might provoke people, users, into further thinking of our everyday behavior. So now I want to show you a few sample works from our students to further give you an idea what our schools believe. Say, for example, this one, the students consider note-taking behavior not for typical users, but also for some people, they are visually impaired. Another students consider something for sustainability, like every one of us, I believe, have many different things, different possessions in our lives. Some of them might be too good to be thrown away, but probably they are clutters. What should we do? How about exchange with each other? So she proposed interactive installations with some playful elements that attract people to play and exchange their everyday things. Another student think of something more culturally sensitive, but also related to our environment and sustainability. Cremation of urns is definitely a very present issue in many places, especially in Asia and in Hong Kong, definitely. Can we turn it to a better approach, like making use of digital technologies, but still cherish, preserve the traditions, the cultural aspects of it? And other students even take the nostalgic ideas further. Think about something that we have been doing all the time today, sharing photos, sharing memories. But how about connecting to something in the past? People in the past like to share music through some traditional music albums. It can be vinyl records, it can be CD. They brought these vinyl albums to share with their friends physically. We can also make use of this physical medium, the photo disc. It carries the images from the network or from the cloud, but it also enables people to meet in person, physically, in order to enjoy, to share their memorable moments. How about some couples today? They might be stay in different cities because of studying or working. How they can keep connected with a emotional, sensual moments and feelings. Through this wedding band, they can transfer their feeling through a tangible touch, tangible senses to the other one, probably 100 miles away. Sometimes we might even consider the pace and rhythm in our everyday lives. So these students propose a smart clock. This clock, instead of telling us the physical time, it actually tells us the time between work and life, so-called work-life balance. If any one aspect in our well-being left behind or being ignored, it will remind the user to get back to that particular activity in order to strike a balance in their well-being. So you can see just a few of our graduate students' work. You should probably know that what are our school's beliefs in interaction design. We believe people-centered, and we also believe everyday life. And technology definitely can play a role to strive for a better future for humankind. But how could we do that? How could we achieve that? This is the process. This is so-called the design process. In our school, we always emphasize our students have to go through a design process in order to actualize their beliefs or their ideas. And during the process, research plays an important role. Every project starts from research. Research, of course, traditionally, it can be related to analysis and studying of all information available. But apart from this so-called second-hand information, we also believe in first-hand research. That means we want our students to go to explore the world, to collect their everyday experience and data as the components, as the substance for research. So the first thing, of course, is study people and try to understand people, what we call user research. Then they might need to make things, and prototyping is one of the important steps. Try to put things together, try to embody the idea into actual objects or systems, and then test it out, try it, not only in the lab, not only in the laboratory, not only in the studio, but also in the field or in the society. So what you can see now on the screen is a typical research toolkit or research artifacts our students come up with. When we talk about studying people, common methods include interviews, questionnaire, online survey, or even observations. That definitely is something our students have to do. Apart from that, some other process, some other methods we will introduce will be this one, cultural props, or some people call it journals. We create toolkits in order for our target users to document their everyday life. So the purpose of this method is to really know about what our target people, target users they might behave, they might prefer, or they might live in their everyday being. So you can see that research in design or research for design can be very creative. Just like this example, we need to make things in order to do research. So you can see that research and making or research and designing actually goes hand in hand. They are not two separate processes. They always converge. And then students will put together their findings and try to conceptualize and represent the data in a story, in a narrative. And design narratives is also one of the very important mental tools, mental instruments for our students, for our designers to describe, to imagine. So they will pin down their ideas in the form of a user story for a possible futures. Then, of course, they would like to try out their ideas, start prototyping. As I said, prototyping is an important process for interaction design. Students would create systems, artifacts that try to represent or actualize their ideas in different fidelity, in different degrees of actualization. Some of them, of course, focus on screen-based prototypes, like this one. But even more of them would spend time on creating tangible, non-screen-based prototypes, so-called beyond the screen. And what you can see here is electronics becomes one of the important medium for our students to actualize their ideas beyond the screen. And when they create after they create artifacts, they will also test out the artifacts in the field or in the society. Say, for example, these two students are presenting one of their workshop, one of their projects, which is investigating their target users' emotions in their everyday life. Their target users are some nursing students. They study medical science, study nursing principles and practice in a hospital. They are very much under stress. How our students can help them? So our students create an artifact, allow the target users, those nursing students, to report their emotions at any moment in their everyday lives, in their daily schedule. After collecting data like this, our students, again, represent the data and try to conceptualize the user story with a possible improvement enabled by their proposed concepts. So you can see that this is actually a common collaboration project between our students with some real clients. In this case, it is a hospital school in Hong Kong. This one is another project our students work with one of our departments in the government, Environment Protection Department. Of course, the topic focused on sustainability, and how to enable, foster sustainable behavior in the residents. So they put up different installations in a community center and invite different people in the community to engage with it. And then try to see what they see and what different people might respond and reflect on the topic. So we just go through two parts of today's presentations. One is about our beliefs, another one is about the process actualizing our beliefs. And now we move on to the third part, which is just a very important message to you. Our students actually come from many different backgrounds. Some of them, of course, have design background, no matter product design, communication design, information design, media, multimedia design. That is just part of them. Some of them actually have non-design background. Say, for example, computer science, information technology, software engineering, but some others even not technology and design. They have background in business or marketing or communication studies or even psychology. So we always believe that a diverse mix in our students' background would definitely create a much more dynamic and vibrant study atmosphere, and possible outcomes will be generated from our students. So every year we want our student mix with different types of background. And the process, of course, some of them might want to pursue a higher rank in the design field. They want to be design lead. And definitely this is the reason why they study a master's degree in addition to their first degree. And some of them might want to take this chance to transform their career from a non-design practice towards more the design field. And even some of them might want to start up their own business. This is, of course, definitely possible and promising in today's environment, enabled by all the accessible digital and information technologies. And here is just a few figures, a few information that reflect our past MDes graduates. They go to different business status, say technology companies, design consultancies, manufacturing companies, and startups as well. So I think, yeah, and the last slide of today, you can see that UX and UI design definitely is the major positions our students might be. But actually, quite many of them later on becomes product manager, or even some of them can be journalists, like data journalists, because today data journalist is also a very popular, is also a very emerging field in journalism. that combining data visualizations and storytelling. So here is just a rare example of what our students, what our graduates can be. Definitely, design is about possibility. I believe our students with different backgrounds, with different thinking, with different attributes, coming to us, have a interaction with us, and then in the future, they can go to a very different directions. So now I think we finish our presentation part 1, and we can move on to see if there are any questions for us. So Simon, I pass the stage to you.
Kenny, thank you very much for taking the time and sharing your expertise on this matter. And as just indicated by you, we have come now to the Q&A part, where our audience can submit their questions in writing through the Q&A panel that you can find now on the right side. We do have a few questions submitted. The first one is a good one. How can someone without previous training in design learn interaction design, and how can this program prepare them for a career change?
Yeah, very good question, because it's directly related to what I just said. Is we actually welcome students from different backgrounds, even without formal design training. But of course, the first thing they might need to prepare is they should be, or they should have a passion, interest, or sensitivity towards design. I think this is for sure, because this is the reason why they come to study design or come to apply for a design master degree. So the first thing is they are interested in design. But then, without formal design training, can they be studying interaction design? I think, yeah, definitely. The answer is positive, because in the past we do have quite a few good students. They actually come from different backgrounds. As I said, they can be working in the marketing field for many years. They can be a graduate from psychology department, but they do very good. They perform very, very well in our program, and then they are able to continue their career in interaction design. And one particular example, of course, is one of our today's presenters, our alumni, Wallace Wong. Yeah, Simon just introduced him earlier. Actually, Wallace has a background in architecture, which to a certain extent might be connected to spatial design, but not interaction design. How Wallace prepared himself such that he can acquire the knowledge and practice in interaction design, and now after graduation, he immediately becomes a UX, so-called user experience designer. So I think it's better to let Wallace talk about his experience and probably share some light on this topic. So Wallace, can you talk about it?
Sure. So just a quick background. As Kenny said, my background is actually in architecture. I've worked also 2 years in architecture already. So my goal of taking this master's at interaction design is actually a career change. it's not so much that I'm fed up with architecture, but there's just other aspects of design that I'm interested in, and interaction design is definitely one of them, because the sort of different aspects that Kenny outlined, like for example, psychology, anthropology, all those are the same reasons that drove me to learn about architecture. But I just sort of see my interest morphing into a different form, something to do digital more than physical. So that's why I decided to take a master's. I think I started while I was working in architecture, I started looking into UX, figuring out if it was right for me. I think I took a little bit of part-time classes just to get a good understanding of it. And I think that was enough for me to know that I do want to pursue this degree. Applied and I got in, and I think it was a very diverse, a very intense 1 year that really gave me a very good understanding of different aspects of interaction design. My role is a UX designer, but there's a lot more in interaction design that goes beyond just typical user experience design. I think whether you need programming, I think before I dabbled in it, I went online. There's some free classes about HTML, CSS, very simple ones. That's the only background I have in programming. So I don't think you really need too much intense programming experience to do well in this degree. And I think another great thing is that, from my experience, is that I had a lot of I had my fellow students. They have diverse backgrounds. So some people might be really, really good at development, and a lot of the projects are collaborative. So you get to really utilize each other's strengths in order to create a good project.
Thank you, Kenny and Wallace. And if I may, before addressing the next question from the Q&A, we also have 5 short questions for our audience members today. So I just opened the poll with 5 questions that are more or less multiple choice answers. So it shouldn't take you more than 30 seconds up to a minute, and we would really appreciate having your feedback. So the poll has no time limit. I'll leave it running throughout the Q&A, and feel free to give us some feedback. And now returning back to the Q&A, the next question is also a good one, sort of a broader. Why should one choose Asia to study interaction design?
Wow. Yeah. So yes, definitely this is very much important. As I just said in my introduction of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, the School of Design here actually is one of the earliest departments in the university in Asia focusing on design. We have more than 50 years of history, and we include a lot of these design disciplines. Not only interaction design, but also product design, interior and environment design, communication design, advertising design, and we will have a new discipline called social design. So I have to say that our schools are very much full of so-called design atmosphere. When you study here, you will see people from different, probably with different cultural background, because we have a lot of different students. They are not only local students, but they might also from other part of the world, because we have quite a number of a portion of non-local students, in particular in Master of Design. So in the past, we have students from, say, Colombia, Ukraine, Taiwan, Singapore, Korea, Holland, United States, yeah, quite many. of course, not to mention for mainland China as well. So these diverse cultural backgrounds all come together, work together, and our major medium of instruction is always English. We have many different professors here. They are definitely non-local. So the atmosphere, the culture in our school is very much international and diverse cultural mix. So I think, first of all, any people who are interested in design and interaction design, they can come to us, come to study with us. But why, in particular, Asia? I think this is without questions, because today we know that Asia is very much increasing, not only in their population, but also in the accessibility of technologies. So in common urban cities in Asia, including Hong Kong, you can see that people interact with each other, or people's behavior are very much related to technologies. But it doesn't mean that technology is the only thing in our cultures. We still have quite a number of different cultural practices which actually be very interesting to explore for different people. So we have students coming to Hong Kong, and then they might find that they find that there are lots of resonance between their cultures and Hong Kong. So some of them might choose to stay in Hong Kong even after graduation. And today, again, we have one alumni. Simon just introduced him. Kesaven, he actually is from Sri Lanka. Of course, when he came to Hong Kong, he found that Hong Kong is actually really, really vibrant and vibrant, and he chose to stay in Hong Kong to pursue his career. And after graduation, he acquired an offer. Now he says, again, user experience designers. So I think is better for him to talk about his experience, and definitely his story will be very, very interesting.
Yeah. Hi. I'm also from Asia, so it's a question of why I again want to stay in Asia. So earlier, I always wanted to go to the US to do my master's because it's going to be a career changing, and everyone is really interested to get into Silicon Valley. And the main reason I picked Hong Kong was the multicultural society, or it's actually a mix of Chinese and a Western culture. And designing for China is always challenging. Let it be a poster or information architecture or a UI. It's always different to design for China. And I was keenly following Chinese companies like WeChat. WeChat is one of the most popular, like the whole design world is looking into WeChat because they are coming up with innovative solutions. And also Hong Kong is one of the financial hub, because earlier I was working for a Big Four, so I always wanted to get into the financial institutes, and the scope for financial institutes in Hong Kong is much higher. For example, there are like a lot of investment bankers, insurance companies, banks, And at that stage, like when I applied, because in 2014, most of the financial institutes, they were looking for UX designers to improve their product. So it was the starting stage for financial institutes to get into design, like design thinking, apply design thinking to their solutions. So Hong Kong, mainly because of one of the Asia's hub, like financial hub, and also another reason is it's very close to Shenzhen. Shenzhen is the hardware Silicon Valley, and after coming to Hong Kong, I realized like prototyping is so convenient here. You can get anything from Taobao within a week, and you can make whatever you want. And also another adding to this point, PolyU Design School of Design is completely dedicated to innovation because it's called Innovation Tower, designed by Zaha Hadid. The building has all kind of prototyping like facilities. For example, you can 3D print, you can do a laser cut. Everything is so convenient to do being in Hong Kong. So I spoke to a lot of people because I took 1 year to understand the design industry and like what are the other institutes teach. And I was really impressed with the practical like teaching of HK PolyU, Hong Kong Polytechnic University, which enhanced or driven me to a different perspective of design. Because I was from a communication design background, and right now I'm into industrial design, UX. So it's completely a changeover for my life and my career. And the best thing happened to me is I think most of my classmates got the job while studying. Some of them got the job in the first semester itself. So it made me easy, or like it made my stay in Hong Kong very smooth. So I was so happy to stay back in Hong Kong, and it gave me a different perspective to approach design into technology, how to design Chinese industry as well as the Western. So yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you very much, Kesaven. Let's see if we have a question that's also beneficial to our audience. Indeed, we do. Sort of to sum it up, what would be the programming skills needed? How should one prepare themselves if they lack the hardcore programming skills?
Yeah, I think this is one of the top questions in the list when people considering interaction design. They always think that programming is a must in making interactive design, right? I think in the past, programming is like the airbrush for a programmer or for a system designer, just like the airbrush for a painter, for an illustrator. But this is just the past, because in the past, all interactive objects, interactive artifacts, if you want to make it interactive, dynamic, you have to program. But today, technologies advances a lot. There are many different software tools actually enables anyone, including designers, to create interactive events with just a little bit editing on some examples and on some so-called modules, and then they put them together to create a flow that can actualize the interaction. So programming might not be necessary today, but of course, with these tools, students or interaction designers still have to develop an understanding of so-called concept of behind the technologies. It's probably related to what we call system thinking. They have to know so-called systems that might consist of different components, and the components might exchange information to each other under different conditions at different occasions. So all this, we call it a system thinking. Once students acquires or master this system thinking, then what they can do is make use of many available tools in the market to create what we call prototypes, digital interactive prototypes, together with some electronics. Then they can already create something very interactive. And of course, in the industry, at the end, in practice, designers have to work with developers, engineers all the time to create the actual final viable products. So, as a designer or as a student learning interaction design, programming is not a must. What they need to be prepared is to develop their system thinking ability. Of course, now I also want our graduates, Kesaven and Wallace, to talk about their experience of programming as well.
Yeah, so when I came to PolyU, I knew only HTML and a little bit of CSS, but while studying, I need to like go through a lot of programming in the sense how the program works. So since the course is one year, the program is 1 year, like we cannot master in all programming, but we know how to execute certain things after some level of learning. So even till this point, I always work with programmers. So it's a good learning where we know how to execute certain things, whether it's executable or not, when we discuss with programmers. And also another part is it's always good to know some programming where we can teach the programmers how to think, like how to implement design thinking or design-driven solutions, where it gives more credit to the product which we are doing. And the programmers working with the programmers is one of the main role for interaction designing. So interaction designers. So it's always better to understand how the program works and which program can be used to make your prototype. So end of the day, we are doing for the users. So we need to execute certain things, and it's always open for us to use whatever the possible way. Wallace, do you have any comment?
I think you pretty much answered it. I don't have too much to add. I think I mentioned about programming earlier already as well. So please proceed.
Thank you once again, guys. We do have one more good question. If, for instance, they have a bachelor's degree in software engineering, what should they cover in their portfolio?
Oh, good. About portfolio, again, is another common question for applying design degree. I think portfolio is a medium for applicants to present themselves, present their attributes, present their potentials. So if you have a background in non-design area like software engineering, I think what you need to present is, first of all, select a work or a project that you think is most relevant to the area, most relevant to interaction design. And then try to describe the project in a clear and articulate way. That means how the project developed during the process. And then, most important of all, is pointing out your path, pointing out your input and contributions. What have you done? What have you contributed? What have you suggested? What have you made during the process? Then, let us know what do you want to do more from the project, probably because of the limitation, say, of resources, of time, of expertise, or the limitations of your partners, whatever. You definitely want to make your project better from a design perspective. So let us know your view. How would you improve it such that it will be a better design? From this, first of all, we know your capacity and attributes in doing the project. Secondly, we also know your vision and your vision of how to make it better. So we believe that for applicants without a design background, their sensitivity and vision in design is very much important. So try to present both your attributes and your vision in your portfolio, then it will be great. We would select the most appropriate candidate to our class in order to make the class more complete and diverse.
Thank you very much, Kenny. So far we addressed a bit more broader audience, broader questions, but perhaps we still have time to address a few more specific ones. If I may, I believe that TJ has a good question, saying that if in Hong Kong the interaction design is recognized as a discipline of its own, and how does it differ from the UX, UI, or the product designer?
Sorry, can you say again?
So in Hong Kong, if the interaction design is recognized as a discipline of its own, and how does it differ from the UX/UI or the product designer program?
Yeah, I think interaction design is connected to UX and UI, definitely, but it's just part of it. Interaction, as I said, includes many things, not only applications. So it's not just UX and UI. It also includes possibly some entertainment as well. So in the curriculum, in the program, actually, students might also have a chance to learn about game design as an elective. So entertainment, applications, and sometimes even strategies and business, because in our Master of Design, we also have electives in design strategies and design management as well. So all this can add much more to UX and UI. On the other hand, product design, again, I have to say, is very another strong connection as well. But product, we have to say that it's still about product, object, and artifacts. But interaction will focus on how people interact, how people use the product or objects. And sometimes the product and objects can go to be more abstract, more intangible, so-called service. And in fact, today, service and product joined together becomes a so-called system. So in interaction design, we might be able to design systems which include service and product. So I have to say that interaction design has a much broader concept or perspectives on different areas, which distinguish from product design and simply UX and UI design.
Thank you once again, Kenny. Let's see, I believe we have one more question. Seeing would like to know if they need to do an interview in order to be accepted. If you could talk more about the interview process, he's asking.
Yeah, we have the interview. A bit like what we are doing here. We will invite the applicants to talk to us. Of course, in person is perfect. Otherwise, just like what we are doing here, because many of our applicants are overseas, so we will do Skype. And during the process, of course, the most important thing that we want to know, as I said, is the attributes and vision of the students. What the applicant might want to achieve in our program, and what they want to be after studying with us. So, this is something I think applicants can probably prepare before meeting us.
Thank you once again, Kenny. And then a question from Liu, saying, is a student majoring in visual communication with some internship experience in the UI design, and for a graphic design student, do you have any advice with that profile? What disadvantages do you think those with the visual design background would have during the postgraduate course?
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, definitely. Kesaven is perfect.
I think the work samples will be enough with more rationalized solutions, like a meaningful design will be enough. And also it's always better to show like different diversified solutions, like let's say a financial institute, like UI for different types of apps and like websites. It can be more. It's better to always like try different things. Let it be experimental, but still something meaningful. That will be my answer.
Thank you very much. Let's see, the next question was from Ray. If you can tell him a bit more about the students who have gone on to teach or do research at the university level.
Doing research in the university?
At the university level, yes. So from former students that have gone on to teach or either do research at the university level.
You mean, sorry, I don't really got it. So
I'm guessing Ray's question here would be if some of the students that took part of this course have gone on to do research with the university, with not only in the industry, but with the academia.
Like a research assistant?
Or PhD students, or you mean whether they are able to continue their career in research, being a research?
That would be Ray's question, yes, I believe so.
Yeah, in academics, right? Yeah, good, very good question as well, because in principles, Master of Design is more like a master degree about practice. We hope to train designers, but we also emphasize the research components. So it is also possible for our graduates to continue their research career. If they have that idea, they can better prepare during the study with us. Let us know. We can guide them, in particular in their final graduation project. We can guide them with more emphasis on research components, such that the graduation project can be like a research proposal for them to, on one hand, probably pursue a higher research degree, or using that research proposal to apply for research funding elsewhere, or even apply some research position in the school, in the university. So or even in the industry, because some technology companies, in mainland, for example, so they will also have research and development departments. They actually also hire some of our students focusing on conducting user research rather than just being a designer.
Thank you once again, Kenny. I do believe that we have time to take one last question. I saw one that was a bit more specific. An attendee is asking that for someone interested in doing a project involving fashion and wearable devices, is it the better fit with the interaction design major or the design practice?
I think I have to say both design practice and interaction design could touch upon wearable devices. But I think it depends on what are your focus. If your focus is more on the user experience, that means how to make sure the wearables is more pleasant to use, or even might bring about meaning to the user in their everyday lives, then definitely interaction design is more appropriate. However, if you want to investigate or explore, say, the business opportunities of the wearable devices in the market, or even put it into manufacturing, or making it viable in the market, then design practice might be the way to go.
Thank you very much, Kenny, for the last time. And on that note, it is then time to wrap up the session. Allow me to thank our audience members firstly for joining today's session. I hope that this webinar was informative. Moreover, I sure hope that some of you are actually considering in applying. So thank you very much for your attendance. And of course, a very special thank you to Kenny, to Kesaven, and to Wallace for taking the time, for sharing your expertise today. Perhaps any last-minute closing comments you guys might have before we say goodbye?
Yeah, just a last message is, if you have any further questions, just let us know. We are always open to answer any questions. Email us if you have any queries.
Thank you very much once again to all of the participants. And this is Simon signing off by wishing you perhaps a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening from wherever you may be. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.